Okay, we're taking a closer look at the Antonio Fortress, also known as Baris by the Hebrews. And we notice in Josephus book 5, chapter 4 and 2, he writes, "It was Agrippa who encompassed the parts added to the old city with this wall." And the wall is actually going along the ridge line here. And those parts of it that stood northward of the temple and joined that hill to the city, it lies over against or across from the Tower of Antonio. And we're standing on the Tower of Antonio, but is divided by a deep valley which was dug on purpose. And so this area that we're looking at is the deep valley, or the ruins, or what's left of the deep valley that was between what they call the new city, or Bezetta, and the tower. Okay. Now, the other part I wanted to also note that if we look farther down, we see a embankment. This embankment is not something that's just out of the ordinary, or it is out of the ordinary. And Josephus talked about this embankment right here. He says in book 5, chapter 9, chapter 5, book 5, chapter 9, verse 4, it says, "Now the Romans began to raise their banks, and there was 4 great banks raised, one of which was at the Antonio Fortress." And what we're looking at is this is the Antonio Fortress. You're looking at we're on the eastern side, northeastern side, and this is the other little tower that was situated over here is over here, and the other part of the tower was here, and then the other part of the tower was in this area right here. And they all connected, and it was a very large area, as the way Josephus described it. So this is the embankment, or the northern part of the temple. The temple would have stood right over in this area, right over here in this area right here. And these are the northern embankments that the Romans had built. Okay, so we're looking at the siege engines that were at the northern side of the Antonio Fortress. And we're looking back at Josephus, what Josephus said in the Jewish War, book 5. And he says, for there were now 4 great banks raised, one of which was at the Tower of Antonio. This was raised by the 5th Legion over against the middle of that pool, which was called Struthius, and or Struthion in the Greek. Now, so this has to have, for it to be the Antonio Fortress, the siege wall or embankment has to have a pool south of the embankment, and the Tellerrad site. The Tellerrad site does have this very same situation, where we have the embankment right here, and directly south of it in this area is a pool, and I'll show you the picture of the pool. This is the pool that is south of it. Okay, now there's many pictures of it, and you'll be able to see. You can also see on YouTube. One of the ox is he goes over it. They look down at it. Albeit Hoshua differs in, he thinks that this area is the Temple Mount, which I differ in, but I'm saying that this is the Struthion pool, which is opposite of the embankment. Here's another picture that you can see it better. The pool is situated right here, and directly opposite you can see the embankment that the Fifth Legion did. If you keep going back this way, you're going to see some more embankments, and this is where the temple stood. The temple in this open area right here, and these are the embankments that the Romans set up. It said that there was 5. One was at the Antonia Fortress. There was 5 more going down the northern side of the temple.